Mic check, mic check. Say something to mic.
Check, 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 check.
Okay, you loud and clear. All right, literally, it's no pressure. I'm your host, Bangum Bug, and we got a special guest. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
What's that? What's that? This is J double P to the A, representing Augusta, Georgia 706. You know what I'm saying? You already know what time it is.
Oh, so you originally from Augusta?
Well, I was born in Michigan, born in Trenton, but yeah, that's what I was raised at. It's Augusta.
Okay, so did you grow with both of your parents?
No, just my mom's.
And so, what's your relationship like with your dad?
Yeah, me and my dad, cool, man. They got separated when I was 6 years old. You know what I'm saying? Then when I was 8, going on 9, I moved. Me and my family moved down to Georgia, and yeah, me and my dad, we had a rocky relationship over the past couple of years, man. But we tight, man. That's my best friend.
Okay, that's what's up.
Yeah.
So, what would you say the most traumatic experience you had as a child?
Shit, man. Where do I start?
Take your time.
Okay. Traumatic. The first one that comes to mind. I was 16. This is when I'm like my adolescent years. I'm like deep into like getting myself in a bunch of shit. I don't know what I'm getting into. And 3 of my homies, we went to this. It's the Augusta Canal, and a lot of people go there. It's a very popular spot. But it was on this particular day. For some reason, they had a wild idea that they're going to go down there and do heroin. And they asked me if they wanted me to do it, and I said no. So I'm watching them shoot up in the car, and one of the dudes that was supplying the heroin and that was driving, he started to OD. And I'm like 15, 16. I'm like, what the fuck do I do? So two of my friends, they thought it was a wise idea to call somebody to come pick them up, go to the gas station to get him food and water, because they weren't trying to like call the cops or an ambulance. They were trying to like get him straight so we didn't have to get there. So they thought it would be a great idea to leave the youngest motherfucker in the car, which was me, to watch over him and try to keep him alive. So like I'm by myself trying to like keep this guy from falling asleep. And you can just see like his eyes rolling in the back of his head like countless times. He'd go in and out of consciousness, and there was sometimes I thought he was dead, but I just kept on shaking him, waking him up, yelling at him, calling his name. Man, to be honest, I don't even know how he survived, but he got back, and it took a while for him to kind of get straight, but he's a little disoriented, but he was straight. And the crazy thing is now, he's like, totally turned inside out. He was like satanic and everything, listening to like Tool and shit, which is nothing wrong with that. I fuck with Tool a little bit, but he lives in Florida now, and he's a pastor.
I thought you were gonna say he was a cop.
Hey, he's using his life for the greater good, man. So
that's what's up.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. What do you feel drains your energy the most?
Shit, being stressed out.
And what's like the most stressful thing in life, like in your life right now?
Shit, man. I'd probably say, without getting into too many details, I'd say something with my family. I got somebody that really close to me, I love a lot, care a lot about, and this person just got a huge drug problem, man. It's crazy. But at the same time, I try not to like complain about it, because at the end of the day, man, in one form or another, I kind of signed up for it, so. But yeah, I try to look at the bright side of everything,
Okay, so man, you brought up drugs. So like, have you ever tried a drug, and like, what's the hardest drug you tried?
The hardest drug I tried, I'd probably say, well, I wouldn't consider it hard, but I've never done like real hard shit like meth, heroin, crack, shit like that. But the hardest on the drug scale would probably be acid. No. There's a shit called Datora. Have you ever heard of that?
That
shit is crazy. Don't do it, man. I'll never do it again. And basically, it's a hallucinogen. It comes from a flower.
Yeah.
And again, I was 16, man, and like all my friends were getting fucked up off of this. So I was like, oh, I want to try. And they were putting it in a tea, and I was only supposed to drink like half of 1 cup, and I had 2. So I was tripping my balls off, man. I went home. My homie's hair looked like waves in an ocean. I couldn't even like make it to my front door, man. I was so fucked up, and for like 3 days I was hallucinating. Like I thought I was going crazy. But yeah, this is probably the hardest shit I've ever done, man. I've never like tried to venture out and do anything else that was, kind of too dangerous.
So usually when you hear like kids doing hard drugs, it's like they grew up around like white kids. So who did you grow up around? Like the majority black or white?
They're white.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it sounds like it. Yeah, they do that hard shit. Okay, last time someone needed advice and you didn't have the answers.
The last time that someone needed advice, I didn't have an answer. I'd say a couple weeks ago. Um, there was asking about something more like something that I should know, just kind of like religiously, and I felt like I could provide them the answer, but they're kind of looking up to me to provide the answer, but I knew in my heart that I didn't know, so I just said, let me find out about that. I'll get back with you.
Okay, something that you overcame and will probably help someone by telling like what happened.
Mm, Let me see. I'd probably say one thing is like, to know who you are as a person, as an individual, and making sure that you got that straight first, because I feel that a lot of times, especially through my experience, just personally, and then also seeing other people, the people that are not really sure of themselves, it's kind of hard for them to be able to go far in life. You dig what I'm saying? Like, whether it's like them accomplishing something or like, whether it's like internally or externally. I think a lot of people kind of get sidetracked if they don't have a sense of who they are, So I feel like, knowledge of self, in the truest sense is really key. So, yeah.
Okay, what was like one of your happiest moments and then something bad happened?
So we were celebrating something, me and my family. It's a pretty significant milestone. And then this is actually it was last year? Was it last year? Yeah, it was 2020. It was in February. And we were celebrating something very, very significant, actually for this person that's on drugs in my family. And it was like her, sobriety, year of sobriety. And right before that, my one of my family members calls me and said, um, you know, your grandfather is basically going to pass away. And so they're up in Michigan, and I'm also like trying to keep my shit together to like be there for the person I'll be celebrating for. You know what I'm saying? So it was hard to kind of not fake, the enjoyment, and also like being aware that I got to break the news right afterwards. So right after that, we got in the car and kind of just let everybody know what was going on. And later on that very night, I don't know how, I still don't remember. I'm sure if I looked through it, I could find out, but it just happened so fast. We just got on a plane that very night, went up there, and saw my grandfather before he passed away the next day. So it was crazy timing, man. It was unfortunate, the timing, but man, I honestly, bro, like I'm blessed. I have nothing but appreciation because there's so many people that just get a phone call, and that's it. Get to like get their last word in. So, but yeah.
So is it like what would you say something that your granddad taught you that you could remember?
Man, honestly, the one that sticks out the most is he taught me how to be a man. Like I remember when I was 8, going on 9, like the very day, like we all have all our shit packed up. We're about to move down to the south, and my grandmother, my mom, and my sister was, they're all talking amongst themselves. And my grandfather pulled me to the side. And I still remember, like I'm literally in the position right now. I can remember it. He puts both his hands on my shoulders, and he looks me in the eye. It's the first time that anyone taught me like an adult. Like I felt respected. And looked me dead in the eye, and he said, "You're the man now, right?" And to be honest, I had no idea what what that meant. And I remember like being in the car ride on the way down here. I'm like, yo, like what does that mean? Like I'm the man now. I'm the man now. And growing up, I had my own interpretations of what that meant. Got me into some trouble, but yeah, man, I think that my grandfather taught me a lot from that moment on, and he really told me that you got to stand your ground, and and look out after your moms and your sister, because I'm not down there, and your dad's not down there, so it's on you, to take care of them, make sure they're straight.
Okay, so when you was growing up, did you have any like fist fights growing up?
Yeah.
And like, was you winning all of them, or you was?
Nah, not all of them, man. I lost a couple. But I didn't get in too many fights, but there's just times, man, like I wasn't. It's still today. I'm not a fighter, but back in the day, especially growing up, like I tried to avoid fights, but I'm very hot-headed. I'll admit, I'm very hot-headed. I've improved a lot over the years, but I'm very hot-headed. So it get to a point where I'm like, all right, I've had enough. I'll start swinging. I remember there's one time I was on house arrest. I had an ankle monitor, and this is like in the middle of, this is September, August, September. So there was no hiding that shit. It's like hot as hell. Beginning of the school year, and people would like make fun of me, like straight up. And
well, how you look, or like?
No, just because I had an ankle monitor around my ankle. Walking around, and people like say some slick shit, and I got in a fight in the locker room one time, and that was the end of that. My probation officer actually almost put me in jail, but fortunately she wasn't feeling that strict that day.
Yeah, I'm curious about, so like, are you like full Asian, or you like white and Asian? Because like when Asian mix with white, they still look Asian all the way.
Yeah. So I'm a mutt, man. I'm a mutt, but I'm mixed. My mother's Italian and French Canadian, and my father's full Japanese.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how they meet?
Yeah, man. Everybody asks that. So both my parents are Buddhist. I'm Buddhist as well. I was raised in a Buddhist household. My dad came from Japan. My mom started practicing Buddhism when she was a young woman, like in her late 20s, and they met at a Buddhist meeting.
Okay, so have you been to Japan?
Oh yeah, plenty of times.
And like, what they say like Asians are like racist to black people. Like, is there any truth to that, or have you seen that before?
Man, I think I wouldn't say the Japanese people are very conservative. It's a conservative culture. They don't really like expressing how they truly feel. And when something's foreign, I don't want to say just Japanese people. I think a lot of people are like this actually, but specifically Japanese people, when they see something that's different, they tend to kind of shy away from it, and they'll be very polite, but in the back of their mind, they're like scared as fuck of you, or they're thinking this and that and the third about you. Like being a mixed Japanese, right off the bat, people look at me all the time. They judge me. I mean, I don't hear it vocally, but I can tell they're judging. Especially with having tattoos. You familiar with Yakuza?
No, I never.
It's a Japanese mafia in Japan.
Okay.
So it's kind of like an equivalent, like you would say. It's not a specific group, but if you think like Bloods and Crips, like it's a whole, mafia. Kind of like how the mob was in New York back in like the 40s or 50s. But the stigma is that like you have a young guy like me that got tattoos, especially if you see me like dressed with like dressed up, they automatically think that I'm a part of the mafia. It's like, if you only knew, I'm Buddhist,
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think they're too racist, man. I mean, I think the main thing is being mixed. Like Naomi Osaka, right?
Yeah. What's she, like a tennis player, right?
Yeah. She's black and Japanese, but she's Haitian and Japanese.
Yeah.
And and she has to fight, that kind of stigma in Japan. For some reason, man, I don't know why Japanese are way too, proud. They're way too proud. Like if I have tattoos, like it's totally a no no. But if you went over there and you got tattoos, they think it's cool. So in one sense, the race is like that. You dig what I'm saying?
So it's like we better than that. You shouldn't be doing that, cause
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Okay, so your biggest regret so far?
My biggest regret is probably not being on equal terms with my homeboy before he passed away.
And like, what was the beef about over a female?
It was just some stupid shit. It wasn't even a female, man. It was just some immature teenage shit, man. You know. To this day, I still can't remember what it was about, but all I remember is that I wish I would have, kind of. And he had came to me, try to kind of. We weren't even beefing. I just didn't like him. I wasn't fucking with a lot of stuff that he was doing, and he was crazy. He was crazy too. So it was probably one of the things that he was probably doing some crazy shit I didn't like. But he came up to me and he tried to kind of smooth things out, and I wasn't trying to hear it. And then I think like a week later he had overdosed.
White kid.
Yeah.
Okay. So like, who would you say like the biggest loss you done took, like as far as death, and it kind of like it changed you as a person?
Shit. I mean, I wouldn't say there was like one person. It was really just a multiple. I mean, yeah, it was just losing multiple friends, man. Like once I started growing up, I'd say around 14, it just seemed like every person I was hanging out with was dying. And it got to a point where, not like I chose to think this way, but it was kind of like subconscious. I was like, all right, that's just normal. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that's what I'm used to. I'm like, all right, well, I'm literally thinking like, okay, who's gonna die next? You know. And the crazy part was, I was still, doing. At this point, I was doing a lot of pills. I was still doing pills, and I think it wasn't until one of my really good friends passed away. Yeah, after he passed away, man, he overdosed as well. I just told myself I'm just done. You know, whether I die next or not, like I don't even want to contribute to this shit no more, because kind of seeing like, I think the most painful thing is seeing, my friend's parents, at the service. Like that was really hard to see, because no parent ever wants to bury their child, So I think like one day I just thought about like, my mom, all the shit she's been through to raise me, take care of me, my sister single-handedly. In fact, a lot of people, man, there's a lot of people that I give thanks to a lot, man. I have a lot of appreciation for. They bust their ass to support me to get to a point where, so I can live a happy and enjoyable life. And here I am, 16, 15 years old, just throwing that shit away. So I just kind of got tired and said, I'm just going to leave this shit alone.
Okay, let me switch it. Okay, so if you brought home a black woman and was like, I'm about to marry her, would it bother either one of your parents?
Not one bit.
They'd be cool with it?
Oh, hell yeah.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
Okay, something you wish you could get a second chance at?
I wish I could get a second chance at being a better son growing up. Yeah.
So like, you always apologizing to your mom, like, or you be trying to go out your way to try to make it up to her?
Today? Now?
Yeah.
No, man, because like I said, I won't share too much, but me and my mom's relationship the tables have turned several times over the past 15 years. But I think for me and my mom, we on an even kill. Life is really interesting how it changes. My mom really, man, she really, was riding for me. Through all the crazy shit I was doing, all the crazy shit that I was putting her through, and so now like she was taking care of me, and I'm kind of taking care of her now. So I don't really apologize for what I did because I was a kid, but I just try to like realize time is short. You know what I'm saying? And whatever time that I do have now, I want to use that, and remember that as me cherishing and appreciating her.
Well, I say living life is making mistakes, so it's
Yeah.
like that's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? It's just about if you keep doing the same shit over and over, that's when it's like, come on now.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was your worst experience with the artist and with the promoter?
And a promoter or a promoter?
Both of them, artist
Both.
and promoter. Yeah.
Um, so an artist. Well, I'll start with a promoter. Um, so I've been performing pretty consistently for the past 4 or 5 months, and I'm really thankful for it. For meeting all the people that I met, like yourself, um, and I'm learning about who's really on point and who's professional. And and I try not to judge anybody because the last thing I want to do is judge somebody and then be like, damn, that was a move I could have made, you
Yeah.
know, or that was somebody I could have help out. So I always try to give everybody a chance. But there's this one time, there was a promoter, and I mean, he just, I'm not gonna, I'm trying to be careful with what I say because I got respect for him too. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like he just didn't have his shit together, and I mean, the whole from day one, it just was sloppy. But it's all right. Like look, we all people, So like, okay, maybe he's got some shit going on. Like I'm gonna let him do his thing. And then I ended up not performing. And from the day one, the shit was just not. He did not come correct with anybody. And so when we got there, there's actually me and one of my partners that was supposed to perform. When we got there, they're like, oh yeah, well, we have to actually shut the show down, and yeah, whoever didn't perform, sorry. I was like, like you can't do that, because we're taking time out of their day to do what we got to do, and as the promoter, we're kind of counting on you. We're actually counting on each other to have our shit together. Um, but the one thing I did respect is that he made it up. So he could have just said like whatever, not my fault. And with an artist, I haven't had really any issues with an artist. I just feel like some artists that want to make music or want to collaborate, they don't have like a specific vision. Not all the time, but a lot of the times they're just like, hey, let's collab, or oh, let me hop on the track. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, man, don't hand me that amateur shit, man. Like tell me what you want to do. If you want to do a song, like, all right, whose song is it gonna be? It's gonna be yours. It's gonna be mine. What do you want to do for the song? What is it gonna be about? Like, how do you want to deliver it? I just don't have time for unprofessional shit.
Well, what I usually do, I ask somebody they want to do a song, but usually I get it together and then I
Right.
send it to them and be like, it's about this, so try to
Right.
stay on this topic. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
That's
right,
what I
right.
usually do. Okay, so when is the last time you cried about something?
Last time I cried about something, I say about a month ago.
Was it
Yeah.
over a woman or?
Nah, man. I haven't cried over a girl in I don't know how long, man. But what I was crying over, man, was again, man, just like being stressed out, man. I had a huge task that I had to accomplish, and this shit just was not working out for whatever reason. It just was not working out, and I knew I had to do it. And it got to a point where, again, this is my temper and me being a hot headed guy. Um, I blew up on somebody that was trying to that needed them to help me out, and they were being a fucking asshole. So I blew up on them, and that was squashed. But I ended up getting it taken care of, so it's whatever.
Okay, the biggest mistake that turned out to be like the best lesson you had.
Biggest mistake. Uh, I I wouldn't say the biggest, but most recent is again, one of my performances I did several weeks ago. Um, I went there, and I was actually supposed to hit up three different venues that night. The first place I went to, again, man, like same thing, like they didn't have their shit together, and I go up there and I did my thing, and I told the DJ, I said, yo, first thing I do when I do any performance, I check in with the DJ. I don't even hit the bar.
Yeah.
The first thing I do is I check in with the DJ. Because if me and the DJ aren't on the same page, then I'm putting myself at risk to have a sloppy performance. I didn't come to like get fucked up. I did. I didn't come just to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is business for me. This is my career. So, anyways, I checked in with the DJ. I told him, yo, this is the songs that I'm going to do. This is the set, list order that I'm going to do them in. And, have you seen me perform. You've seen the intro track that I usually do, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to do this, pause the track, and then I'm going to let you know when I'm going to get back into it. So, I'm passing on my flyers and shit. And I come back, and I was like, all right, DJ, pause that shit. And I didn't even have to because I never have to. But for some reason, I turned around just to, like, make eye contact with him. And guess what? Motherfucker's gone. He left. Like, yo, where the fuck you at? And then the song plays, and I don't know if you heard me do this song, but I did a Tupac remix to Rather Be Nigga. And, you hear the dun, 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 dun. Once you hear that, everybody already knows what time it is.
Yeah.
So it totally ruined the element of surprise.
Yeah.
So in my head, I'm fucking pissed. Pissed. And, and I'm trying to get good energy, too. I'm beginning my set.
Yeah.
So I can't be mad. Or I can't, at least can't show it. So he's coming from back behind the club, he's taking his time. And I was like, man, I swear to God, I'm going to cuss this guy out. So, I kept on going. And then I was a 3-song set. On my second song, he just was like, I was like, all right, like I'm prepping everybody. Because I can see like he's still trying to get the track pulled up for some reason. So I'm like trying to buy some time, and I'm talking a bunch of shit. It got to a point where I was like, okay, like I need to start performing now. So I bet you anything he's got it done now. I look over and he goes, I'm like, man, what the fuck? So I'm like, okay, like, what am I supposed to do? Tell a joke? Is that what I said? I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? Tell a joke? And then the host, on the mic, he goes, yeah, we're not going to do another song. We ran out of time. And I swear on everything, I was about to lose my shit.
You paid to do another song, too?
Yeah.
They give you your money back?
No, they didn't.
Hell
no. The last venue that I performed at, where I was supposed to perform but I didn't perform, they gave me my money back. At least they did that. But you know what I'm saying, man? Like you don't know until you try. You know what I'm saying? So all I know is where I stand with those people. You feel me?
Okay, so if a female doesn't like what you feel is your talent, can you date her? If she don't like your music, she think it sucks.
Not at all. Bye.
Well, I didn't heard several comedians, especially comedians, they be like, my wife don't think I'm funny, so you couldn't do that.
Yeah, nah, man, because I guess it depends, like, on a deep level, what the relationship is, and like, you know what I'm saying, like how solid that shit is. But I feel like, if you my lady, you're gonna support me without me even having to ask. And if you genuinely support me, it means you at least believe in me. And if you believe in me, you at least think I got something going, you know what I'm saying, in terms of my talent or the quality of my music. That's just how I see it. So, bye. If you don't like it.
So you don't think nobody could think you trash and could support you? You don't think that's possible?
They can support me, but I want genuine support. You know what I'm saying? Like, if she's genuinely going to support me, that doesn't mean she needs to be at every interview, every show, every whatever. But when she's out there, when I'm, doing, handling business, she's I don't know, man. I feel like a couple, especially women, like, when they're out there with their man or their husband or whatever, they're representing, yeah, like I'm down with this. You feel what I'm saying? Like, yeah, this is my husband, this is my wife, whatever. Like, what she got going on, like, I'm down for this. So if she down for it, then I'm down for it too. So if she don't like my music, then it just ain't gonna work.
Okay, so the last time you had a deep, priceless conversation, and like, what was it about?
A deep and priceless conversation.
Yeah.
I'll probably say today. Yeah, I say today. Um, yeah, I have a lot of deep conversations, man. But yeah, I'd say the most recent was today, and I'd say the kind of like the underlining thing was it was actually me and two of my homeboys, and me and my one of my homeboys, we were trying to help talk to this other guy that's our homie, and like he's got a really bad habit of lying and being dishonest, and if he's not always dishonest, but he's only dishonest when he feels some type of pressure and he feels like he's gotta, because he's worried about what other people think of him. And when my partner that was in the conversation with me, he was like, "Yo, but like, do you want to live your life like governed by like what other people think of you, and also like allowing that to kind of evolve and into like dishonesty and like other negative aspects of your life? Like, you got to get control of that shit." But yeah, that was probably the most recent, uh, deep and priceless conversation. And I say priceless because the human mind is so the human heart is always changing. So you never know. Like, even sometimes as much as we feel like we know ourselves, um, sometimes we don't even know like what we're capable of or what we're going to do next. So I really appreciated my homeboy talking to him like that, because I know I have a lot of homies, man, that I can't be that real with. You tell them some shit like that, and they'd be like, "Oh no, man, you're tripping," or like, "Oh no, whatever," or, but just kind of shrug it off.
Okay, so I guess finish this. The last time I cheated on my girl.
Last time I cheated on my girl, I've only cheated once. But I was like 17, so I don't even know if that shit counts. Um, yeah, last time I cheated with my girl, um, yeah, this other chick, she was in my bed, was getting it on, and then for some reason, man, I just told myself, I was like, nah, I stopped right in the middle of it, never did it again.
So you never had a woman cheat on you before,
Oh yeah, I've had a woman cheat on me, yeah.
and that don't make you look at stuff different to what, like if they be like if you be faithful to a woman all them years, like you'll go crazy once you find out like she had been
Mm.
messing around on you. So you don't think that way?
No, man, because I take life experiences, and look at it for what it is, and not allow that to like hold me back. Because I also always have to remind myself that everyone's different, and then also everyone's changing all the time too. You got those motherfuckers that just never change, but for the most part, people change over time. So I always try to, remind myself of that.
Okay, I guess it's about time to get out of here. So tell me about your latest projects and how people can like find your music.
Yeah, no doubt. So I just dropped a single, my debut single. It's called Shine. That was actually back in July, and so I'm promoting that right now. Shooting the video for it in less than 3 weeks. I'm real excited about that. And then I got potentially a remix for it, a Japanese remix. And then I got another single I'm gonna drop, and segueing into my EP that I'm releasing next year.
Okay, so give out your handle, and we're gonna get up out of here.
Yeah, so on Instagram, you can follow me at Jappa underscore Jap. It's JAPPA underscore JAPP. You can find me on Facebook, JAPPA. You type in the search engine. Twitter is JAPPA JAP. Snapchat, same thing. TikTok, JAPPA JAPP. And yeah, vote with me.
Yeah, so it's not like racist to call a Japanese a Jap. That's not racist.
Yeah, man. People hit me with that all the time, man. Look, I put it this way. So I got the name Jappa from one of my homeboys who was in the studio, and his idea of the name was putting Japanese and rapper together, and that's how he got Jappa. I wasn't really rocking with it at first, but obviously I do now. And my homeboy Freedom, my big homie Freedom, shout out to Freedom Black 706. He like raised me as an MC, so like we joke all the time, but half serious. He says I graduated from his boot camp, so he really molded me into Jappa who you see today. And anyways, he called me Jap for short, for Jappa. And first time I heard it, I was like, damn, what the fuck? I'm blunted too, so I'm like, yo, what the fuck? But I just rock with it, and for me, over time, it just kind of picked up. And some people are hesitant to address me like that, but for me, I don't care, man, because in my opinion, it's kind of like saying the N word. Like when the shit's being derogatory, like and then you also know when it's your place or not your place to say the word. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm introducing you myself as Jap or Jap or whatever, like, what are you supposed to call me? So I don't really care, man. Now, some Japanese people watching this, hearing this, they probably won't fuck with that. But hey, man, come talk to me and we'll figure it out.
All right, so we're gonna leave out on time, and we'll be right back.